Hi, I'm Gavin Hodgson, fly fishing instructor and manager of Granger's Fishing Tackle here in South Kensington, London. We're going to talk you through some of the techniques and tips and help you get started in fishing. Fishing for steelhead. It's become very popular with the fly in recent years, and probably the area most known for this is British Columbia. We have a lot of rivers that, similar to salmon rivers, fly fishermen like to get in and wade, and the best time of year to go would be early season for the spring run in certain rivers, but the autumn is what we associate mostly with steelhead fishing. Now, we'll talk mostly about fly fishing, but obviously fishing with the real eggs and things like that are done by usually local people, but the tactics we use will be getting in with the fly and using pretty heavy gear. We'll talk about the fly lines first of all, and then we'll move on to flies. Fly lines, whether you're fishing single-handed rod or double-handed rod, that needs to be considered. With a single-handed rod, this Versi tip line is great because it has a number of tips, and what we're normally doing is putting on a sink tip and trying to get our flies down to where the steelhead are sitting. Steelhead are going to make their way upriver at certain heights of the river, but they're usually going to hug the outer shallow bends of the river rather than in the deep fast flow. So we're usually casting deep and trying to get that fly to swing in close to the bend, close on the bottom with big flies. So we need the big lines for the big flies, and flies as large as this are not uncommon, fished with usually a single hook which is often regulations to be flattened barb. Egg patterns, egg sucking leeches, small eggs, and even occasionally surface lures. Skating a surface lure, very exciting fishing for Atlantic salmon or steelhead. We can occasionally do well with that. Usually conditions are pretty good when we're fishing that way, but more often than not it's bright colour patterns because we're fishing in either murky water or glacial water, which is quite coloured up. But it's surprising, even fish will see things like the egg pattern. Now, techniques are down and across fishing, casting down the river, letting it swing around, and really must insist that we hold that fly close to the bank, and that's the area that the steelhead will take right at the end of the run. Fly fishing, obviously we're going to use glasses for protection and glasses to hopefully help us spot fish. When it comes to wading, here's my inflatable friend. A good pair of breathable waders and good boots with a rubber sole. A lot of places now won't allow the felt soles, so we're selling more and more rubber soled boots, and those are good on a variety of surfaces. And coupled with the breathable wader in the right size, it just makes fishing comfortable, and that's very important. Obviously a fly vest. Once you're in the river, you don't want to be carrying a bag of things, so a good fly vest where we can load the pockets up with our fly boxes and everything else that you need for the day. It pretty much kits you out without having to be too cumbersome in the river. Rods wise, obviously depending on the size of the water, what's very common would be a 14-foot spear rod fished with a suitable reel. We've got a reel which is a saltwater reel, hence it's got a very good drag system, and we'd fish it with either of these fly lines and a good gel spun backing and load at least 200 to 300 yards. If we manage to fish on some of the smaller waters, of course, a single-handed rod would be very useful and great fun. Nothing better than catching a nice fresh fish on a lighter outfit.